creator of the ends of the world, you sit above the circle of the earth and stretch out the heavens like a curtain. And God, you reign over every moment of history. Deep in unfathomable minds of never-failing skill, you treasure up your bright designs and work your sovereign will. And so we thank you, our great God, that nearly 30 years before Iwo Jima, you put it in the minds of senior Marines to train up skilled marksmen and develop leaders at the lowest level, so that in many ways reminiscent to Thermopylae, a very small yet tenacious group of dedicated Marines would stop a superior force at Bella Wood. In your providence, that defining historical moment would set ablaze the esprit de corps that would lay the foundation for the World War II Marines on Iwo Jima. Their steeled spirits would know nothing of retreat. Their acts of extraordinary heroism in the face of death and their unrelenting willingness to lay down their lives for one another would be branded into the ethos that defines Marines today. God, your purposes will ripen fast, unfolding every hour. The bud may have a bitter taste, but sweet will be the flower. Draw near, our great God, and bless these proceedings as we recognize the sacrifices of those Marines and sailors and soldiers who served 75 years ago in the Battle of Iwo Jima, honoring those that paid the ultimate price on the island and those that survived, even some of those that are with us today. Have you not known, have you not heard, the Lord does not grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might he increases strength. They who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the presentation of the colors. The Marine Corps color guard before you, flanked by 2 Marine riflemen, carries our national flag, as well as the official battle color of the Marine Corps. The 54 streamers and silver bands displayed with the battle color commemorate the military campaigns in which Marines have participated. They span the entire history of our nation, from the Revolutionary War to the combat operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. Decorated with palms, oak leaf clusters, and stars, they represent more than 400 awards and campaigns of the United States Marines, to include the Battle of Iwo Jima. It is the privilege of Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C. to be entrusted with the custody of this battle color. We are very proud to have as our host for this afternoon, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General David H. Berger. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by for honors.
Step! Right! Set! Ho!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Right! Right! Hug!
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us as we pause to honor those gallant men and women who have given their lives in the service of our country.
Right, set, halt! Stop! Right, set, halt!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by for the retirement of the colors and the playing of Anchors Aweigh and the Marines hymn.
Fellow Marines, today in past, once a Marine, always a Marine, welcome this afternoon. We're here to honor the heroes who fought 75 years ago on the volcanic island of Iwo Jima. The battle on Iwo Jima forever changed the world. It laid the groundwork for the world order that generated prosperity around the globe. 70,000 Marines, sailors, soldiers, airmen, Coast Guardsmen sat off the coast, ready to come ashore. At 0800 on 19 February 1945, Marines and sailors, loaded in the back of Amtraks, began splashing from the well decks of their amphibious ships. 1 hour later, the first vehicles reached the shore. Gunpowder stung their nostrils. Explosions, screams filled their ears. The air was thick and it was humid. The black sand felt like coffee grinds. 23rd Marines was in the first wave. Among them was Sergeant Darrell Cole, and he was the leader of a machine gun section. Sergeant Cole and his Marines thought the 3-day bombardment worked because they didn't see very much resistance when they landed ashore. In a short time, thousands of Marines joined Sergeant Cole on the beach, followed by wave after wave after wave. The soft sand bogged down all the Marines, and equipment trying to move up the beach and over the 15-foot slope just to get to solid ground. An hour after U.S. forces landed on the beach, the Japanese blasted the landing force from every direction with every weapon. The sand and surrounding water ran red with blood. Visibility limited to barely a few feet through the smoke and the shrapnel. Orders hard to follow because you couldn't hear the man next to you over the cacophony of bullets and artillery. It seemed as though no man should have been able to survive the onslaught, but they did. At 25 years old, Sergeant Cole was battle-tested. He had witnessed already more combat than most men see in a lifetime. He was a veteran of Guadalcanal, Saipan, Tinian, and the Marianas. He joined as a bugler, but he wanted to fight. Before each campaign, he asked to be a machine gunner. Every time he was told no. At last, the Marine Corps approved his transfer before Iwo Jima. Sergeant Cole was placed in charge of a machine gun section. His experience taught him that once on the beach, the only option was to advance, and that's exactly what he did. Sergeant Cole moved his section up to suppress enemy machine guns that paralyzed the advancing troops. He personally destroyed 2 positions with hand grenades before moving to a 3rd pillbox that was cutting down Americans like trees. After a quick assessment, Sergeant Cole was convinced that the only solution was to put a grenade through the pillbox window. So he ran, alone, from his covered position, hurled the grenade, turned around, headed back to his unit. Before he could make it back to his section, another grenade took Sergeant Cole's life. His actions allowed his section and the rest of the force to take the fight inland. 4 days after Sergeant Cole's death, 5 Marines and a Navy corpsman's extraordinary act resulted in an extraordinary outcome. And we now know how many times the names of those flag raisers have changed. The flag raising on Mount Suribachi buoyed the spirits of tired men on the island and exalted a war-weary homeland. Violent combat continued on that island for a total of 36 days, but success was within reach of every man on that island. Sergeant Cole was one of 27 men awarded the Medal of Honor for bravery on Iwo Jima. He was one of 26,000 American casualties. And though we tell his story today, every veteran on that campaign demonstrated the same uncommon valor. The persistence that Sergeant Cole and all the men who fought in the Battle of Iwo Jima symbolize the resolve to fight for the freedoms that you and I enjoy today. The men on Iwo Jima and all the families that supported them, they represent the determination to create the world order of the past 75 years, referred to by some as the long peace. The world hasn't seen that level of peace since the fall of the Roman Empire 2 millennia ago. The bravery of men like Sergeant Cole and every other man on that island fought for our peace. We must never forget what they did for the world. Sergeant Major.
Chairman Milley, Commandant, distinguished guests, I first want to welcome and thank all of the Iwo Jima veterans in attendance today. The Marine Corps takes great pride in its history and traditions, and we are able to share in this day and stand in the shadow of this monument because of what they fought and died for over 75 years ago. We remember their names. The Medal of Honor recipients, Corporal Herschel Woody Williams, who's with us here today, sir. Sergeant Darrell S. Cole. Sergeant Darrell S. Cole, whom the Commandant spoke of. Then there's Gunnery Sergeant John Basilone, who, though he was awarded the Medal of Honor in Guadalcanal, was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart and Navy Cross after giving his life for fighting on Iwo Jima. Each of those heroic acts remain a testament to the unselfish devotion and as an example for us to follow. The true definition of what it means to have honor, courage, and commitment. The Marine Corps is always evolving and will continue to change as the Commandant directs and as the nation requires. But the foundation of our Corps and the warrior spirit alive in every Marine will never change. The Marines and sailors that made up the 70,000 service members who fought the bloody battle were continuing in a warfighting and war-winning tradition that is so closely associated with the iconic flag raising on Mount Suribachi. We know that in every battle and skirmish, the ingenuity, leadership, and ability of Marines and sailors wins the day. There is no greater example or better proof of the effectiveness and need for a naval integrated expeditionary fighting force than that of the island battles of World War II. Throughout our history, new weapons, new equipment, new tactics have always been part of how we fight on new enemies and new environments. The future is unknown, but our history tells us that time and time again how we will remain dominant, how to fight, how to win, and how to always maintain our foundation as the Marines is by those veterans that sit with us today. Thank you very much, and Semper Fidelis.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. We hope your visit to the Marine Corps War Memorial has been a memorable experience. On behalf of the Commandant, thank you for your attendance, and Semper Fidelis.